So, good afternoon, Pixie fans, and welcome to the fourth in the series of the Pixiecasts. I'm Andrew, as I think you probably know by now. And for the first time, I'm going outside of the country, i.e. outside of England, staying in the UK, and that conversation may come up in a few minutes' time when I talk to my guest this afternoon. It is Lisa Simpson up in Scotland. Hi, Lisa, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Now, the first thing that I've picked up on is that you don't have a Scottish accent, but I know that
No.
you're a very proud Scot.
Yes, I
So,
am.
how's that happened then?
Well, I was born in Scotland, but my parents moved to London when I was very young. So I was raised in London, and then came back to Scotland, went back to London. I lived in Edinburgh for a long time, and now I'm back up in the Highlands. And I don't think I'll be moving from here now.
Well, it certainly looks beautiful where you live. I know when people who are friends with you on your personal Facebook account, we see the photos that you post, and it looks absolutely stunning where you are. So I
Oh,
don't
it is.
blame you. I don't blame you if you don't want to move.
No, it's beautiful here. I just adore it. So that's me done with all the moving around. The only
So,
thing is, it's a pain to get to gigs from here. But
well, that's one of the things I was going to bring up actually a bit later on. But yeah, no, explain. So, I think the town that you're nearest to is about 5,000 population, something like that. And
yeah,
Inverness, I guess, is the nearest big sort of conurbation. But I guess not too many bands pass through Inverness either. I wouldn't have imagined.
no, well, it's improving, but it's still got a little bit of catching up to do.
So it's either Glasgow or Edinburgh, really, for you, if you want to
Usually
see it. See a
Glasgow,
bit.
actually. Yeah, mostly Glasgow. But
Yeah. Uh-huh. And have you seen Pixies play at Glasgow before, presumably?
I've seen them 3 times in Glasgow.
Right.
Once in 2009. Once in Kelvin Grove, I think that was 2016 or 17. Peter Norris was at that gig as well, but I didn't
Okay.
know him then.
Uh-huh.
And last year,
Right. Okay.
they played last year.
Yeah. And is it Dingwalls? It's a very famous venue. Is that in Glasgow or is that Edinburgh? Is it Dingwalls?
Dingwalls.
Yeah. Have I got
Oh,
that wrong?
I've never heard of it. I
Probably
thought
got
that
that
was in
wrong.
London.
Maybe it is. I thought it was a Scottish venue, but anyway, so I've probably got that
Scottish
wrong.
town.
Yeah. Okay, so you've seen them 3 times. Have you seen them outside of Scotland at all, anywhere on your travels?
Yes, I saw them. Well, first time I saw them was at Tea in the Park in
Right.
2004.
Mm-hmm.
And the one time I saw them outside Scotland was in Manchester.
Right.
I think that was 2014. That was amazing gig.
Yeah. So to give us some idea then, for you to get where you live to Glasgow, how long a journey is that for you?
Driving, it's about 3.5 to 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that far, but it's not a very good road.
No, I
Yeah.
discovered that when I came up to Scotland one time for a holiday. It's beautiful country, but getting around's not always that easy, is it?
No.
So how long have you been into Pixies for then, would you say?
Since about 2004, when I saw them at Tea in the Park, a friend of mine, Russell, who's absolutely loves the Pixies, he'd been banging on about them. And I had heard a few tracks, but I'd never really got into them properly, although I liked them. And he said, oh, come on, we were at Tea in the Park, and he said, come on, we've got to go and see the Pixies. So I went, and I think they opened with Bone Machine, and that was me. I was
You were
sold.
hooked. Who else was playing that year? Do you remember?
Oh,
Or you just went for the occasion rather than a particular band?
yeah, I just went for the occasion. I think New Order might have been playing that year. But I don't know. I've been to so many of these festivals; they all kind of merge into one. So,
Yeah.
but I do remember that was the first time seeing the Pixies. So, and it was amazing.
And you've stuck with them ever since. So going on 16, 17 years now that you've been a fan of them. So as you'll know, one of the things I do is I ask for some of your favorite tracks. So as we're specifically talking about Pixies at the moment, can you name me a favorite track out of all the great tracks that they've recorded?
That's like asking for your favourite child.
I know. It's naughty
Um,
of me. I know. I
yeah,
know it is. I know it
I
is.
think
What's your favorite album then? Let's start with your favorite
I
album.
think it's got to be Doolittle.
Okay, good choice.
Just because um, every track is short, sweet, to the point. There's no. Well, I mean that's the Pixies all over, really, isn't it? But
Yeah, they do a few longer ones, but they're generally sort of under 3 minutes, aren't they?
yeah,
Usually.
but I think that's because I'm an old punk. That's what I liked about punk music was just the short.
Yeah.
It was a sort of backlash against all the prog rock. Long drawn out,
Yeah, 2 minute
boring.
guitar solos and then a drum solo and then back to another
Yeah,
guitar solo.
yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose I just think Doolittle is just a perfect album. Every track is just superb. But I suppose if I had to pick a favourite song, oh, it's so hard. It would have to be Gouge Away.
Gouge Away, the choice of Mandy yesterday as well. So
Ah,
I'm keeping a little spreadsheet of this actually as we go through. So Gouge Away is the first one to get 2 requests. So it's taken an early lead in terms of popular songs. And what is it that you like about Gouge Away particularly?
I think um, after listening to the usual favourites like Debaser and all that, I just got right into Gouge Away, and it's kind of appealed to a time of my life when I was going to a lot of 3-day parties.
Okay.
and and it just really appealed to me.
You're looking very well on it, anyways.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm only 22.
I'm only 21, so
But no, I just love everything about that song. But then you see, another favourite song of mine is UMass.
okay.
That's not on Doolittle, of course, but
So you don't mind a bit of swearing in a record? Then I guess
no.
describing yourself as an old punk, you wouldn't.
Well, yeah, I mean, it goes with the territory, really, doesn't it?
It does indeed, yeah. So talking about punk music, do you see a sort of a similarity in the sort of spirit, if you like, of Pixies and punk music from the late
Yeah,
70s?
yeah, I do. But okay, it's slightly off, but not off, but slightly off track from traditional punk. But it's there, the short songs, the shouting, the
Yeah,
screaming. In some cases, I mean, if anyone can make screaming into an art form, it's Frank Black.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Uh,
so that love of punk then is taking you through to the Pixies and picking up on that sort of link then that they have in terms of their
yeah,
music as well. So
yeah.
yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. I'm a little bit too young for punk, but I suppose I was aware of the Sex Pistols and Buzzcocks and different groups like that. But I was a little bit too young then to be buying records and that. So I was sort of more early '80s was when I started really getting interested
Yeah,
in music. But yeah, certainly groups that I like that I used to like back then, like Echo and the Bunnymen and different groups are certainly influenced by the punk scene that had just gone
yeah,
sort of 2 or 3
yeah.
years
Well, I love
before
them
that as
too.
well. Yeah. So okay, so that's your first choice then, Gouge Away. I shall make a note of that, and I'll put a little link to that. Um, we spoke earlier about your love of Scotland, and you said obviously you spent quite a lot of time down in England, and I think anyone who knows you knows how passionate you are about Scotland. Um, we're not going to sort of focus specifically on the politics, but one of the things that I'm interested in is about the sort of culture of all the different 4 countries that currently make up the United Kingdom. And if Scotland was to get its independence, do you think that would be a positive in terms of the cultural scene of Scotland, or would that not really change?
I think it would be positive. I mean, I think it's well known what my politics are on that, and I won't go into it. But yeah, I think Scotland's ready now, and it's not a case of wanting to get away from England. It's just a case of standing on our own 2 feet. And I think Scotland's ready, and I think it will. I don't think it will change the nature of Scotland much. culturally or otherwise. No, I don't think it'll change too much. It'll just change the politics.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
it's very hard for me not to get political talking about this.
No,
So
I know.
trying
So
to rein it in.
yeah, no. That's fine, and we'll move on from that. So, were you brought up on the sort of traditions of Scottish music and that by your parents?
Yeah, my mum more so. My dad was more of a sort of rock person. My mum was more into the Scottish music. But I do love Scottish music. I love traditional Scottish music as well. You know, I can often be found listening to the Corries or something like that because, you know, there's I've got a really broad taste in music. I'll listen to anything, you know.
And what about Ivor Cutler as well? Just to
Yeah.
throw one in there.
Yeah, well. But no, there's been a lot of great music's come out of Scotland, you know, traditional and otherwise, you know. I think that Scotland and the UK punches well above its weight
No, indeed.
musically.
Yeah. Well, some of my favourite bands, certainly as a teenager, I had a bit of a crush on Claire Grogan from Altered Images. I absolutely love the film Gregory's Girl as well. So, which
Yeah,
I think is an iconic sort of Scottish film, isn't it? Really?
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean. I've just remembered the name of the venue. It's Barrowlands that I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is in Glasgow, isn't it?
Yes. Have you
Which
been there?
I haven't. No. I've only ever been to Glasgow once, and I was literally there for just like a few hours. And being a bit of a footy fan, I just went to see Parkhead and Ibrox, and
Oh, right.
we moved on from that. So.
If you ever get a chance to go and see a gig in the Barrowlands, you should go. It's an amazing venue. It really is.
So you've been to plenty of gigs there, then, have you, over the years? Yeah. Any that stand out in your memory?
The Pogues.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The Pogues, because they performed that year with Joe Strummer and Kirsty MacColl.
Oh, wow.
So it was
Fabulous.
quite something. That was in the sort of late 80s when, you know, Fairy Tale in New York was out, but Joe Strummer toured with them, and it was, I never got to see the Clash, so I was, that gig was like being in a washing machine because you just got sucked in and spat out and sucked back in again. Everyone was going crackers, but it was really good.
I've seen Pogues twice. Once was a big gig at the Reading Festival when they headlined at Reading Festival, and I think Shane MacGowan just sat down for most of that concert because he was pretty much inebriated, as he often is. And then the other time was really bizarre, is when Shane MacGowan wasn't actually performing with them. It was Spider Stacey who was doing vocals, and that was at my little old university, Bournemouth University, on a tiny stage in the student guild. So two very different experiences, but both great concerts. And again, sort of in that tradition of punk music as well, weren't they, the Pogues?
Yeah, very much so.
Quite amazing, really, that Shane MacGowan's still going. But there we are. I don't know what the secret is of his continuity is, but still going strong. Last I heard. So
he's probably pickled. Poor guy.
Indeed.
He's got a new set of teeth though, which is a relief.
Yeah, I think that was. I think he's probably joked about it, but I think he said that the success of Fairy Tale in New York has allowed him to buy a new set of teeth, hasn't it? So Edinburgh. What were you doing in Edinburgh then for a while? Another great city.
I studied at art college in Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
That was sort of just after I left school, so that was in the early 80s.
So it was all sort of. Oh, okay, right. So it's new wave music, and then moving into sort of train spotting, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It was exactly that era. The train spotting was set when I lived there, and it was as mad as train spotting made it out to be.
Yeah, again another iconic Scottish film as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's when I sort of really sort of spread my wings, got the Mohican and did all that stuff, you know.
Right. And what branch of art were you studying?
Well, I did a sort of foundation course, and then I went into graphic design. I sort of specialised in graphic design, which I later went on to do as a career for probably 5 or 6 years until I left Edinburgh.
And musically, then, what sort of things were you listening to?
A bit like you, actually. A lot of reggae. I love reggae music. Echo and the Bunnymen, Simple Minds.
Yeah, another great
Early
Scottish
Simple
band.
Minds.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah. God, who else? Oh, there's too many to even think of. I was still listening to a lot of punk at the time. I was an avid record collector, absolutely manic, because I'd, between my house and my work, there was 4 record shops. Changed
right.
days now, isn't it?
Wow.
4 independent record shops.
Yeah.
So I used to go into each one on my way home. So I had a collection of 3,000 albums
Wow.
and 7,000 7-inch singles.
Wow, that's incredible.
I know. And then I burnt my house down and the whole lot.
No. Oh. Well, it's good that you can laugh about it, but
Well, yeah, it was, that was the only thing that broke my heart, was losing all that vinyl. And it actually stole music away from me for a while, because I just lost heart.
Sure.
For
No,
a
I can
few
imagine.
years. Yeah.
What a tragic event. Well, I'm sorry
I
to hear
know.
that, but at
No,
least you
I
can
mean,
see a sort of a slightly funny side to it now anyway.
well, there's quite a funny story attached to that, because it wasn't funny at the time, but I was knocked unconscious in the fire with the fumes, you know.
Oh, right,
I had
okay.
to be pulled out by firemen.
Yeah.
And all I had on was nothing. I was
Okay.
and I came round, because I was unconscious, on the back
Yeah.
of a fireman's shoulder,
Right.
in the middle of the street where I lived,
Yeah.
with all of the neighbours hanging out the window, because it was all tenement blocks.
Yeah.
And I just looked up and I saw the sea of faces looking at me over this, stark naked, over this fireman's shoulder.
So when I ask you the question a little bit later on about singing a Pixie song naked on stage, that's not going to phase you at all, then, is it?
Not really, no,
After
not
what you
after
went through.
that.
Dear oh dear. Well, I'm delighted that you survived, even if your record collection didn't.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, I know,
what
but
a,
I'm building it back up again now. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I'm building it back up now.
what in vinyl as well? Are you? Or,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Brilliant. Wow. That's a great story in a way. So lovely. So so moving on from Pixies then, and do you like the solo career of Frank Black?
Yes, I do. It's a bit hit and miss with me, the solo, but some of it I like. I particularly like Teenager of the Year. I think that's my favourite.
Yeah.
Frank Black.
It's a great album.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, and I think my favourite track from that is Whatever Happened to Pong.
Okay. What did ever happen to Pong? A question that Peter asked the other day on Facebook.
Yeah.
And
I think I like that song because it just reminds me of late 70s British punk, the structure of the song.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just reminiscent of that, and I love it.
Yeah. So coming back to punk again, I know that you haven't been able to this year, but I believe there's a sort of a punk festival, isn't there, in Blackpool? Is that right?
Rebellion.
That you normally go to every year. Obviously, it didn't take place this year, but
no.
Do you have a lot of regular friends that you see there every year that you meet up with?
Not really. Well, I'm because I've been going now for a few years. I have got a few people that I meet now, because and it's just people that I met at the festival. I've never actually been to that festival with a friend. Well, I tell a lie. I did go one year with a friend,
right?
Called Fred the Punk. Strangely enough, you might see him on my Facebook page occasionally.
Yeah.
But I'm gradually meeting people, and you know, it's a bit like the Pixie family there. It's a big family. It's got a family feel to it, that festival.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't like punk music, everyone should go to it,
right?
Because it's just such a good festival.
And do you do all the not dressing up? That makes it sound like it's a sort of a fancy dress, but you know what I mean. Do you go in your sort of full punk regalia?
Not really. I mean, I've got some old punk gear from back in the day. I've got an old Vivienne Westwood shirt from her sex
wow.
shop that
Wow.
I'll stick on. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's a bit dyed in the wall now, but um,
Iconic
but
though.
yeah, but I don't dress up. But there are a lot of old punks there who just that's their lifestyle. Not old and young. I shouldn't say that because there's a lot of young people go, and it's just an amazing atmosphere, and it's all in the Empress Ballroom, which is I don't know if you've ever been there.
I know of it. I've
Winter
not been there.
Gardens,
Yeah.
yeah, but the Winter Gardens, it's like this very grand old Victorian building, with fancy ceilings and just beautiful detail. And then every year the punks just take over, and it's sort of a juxtaposition between all these nutters with 10-foot high hair and all this Victorian grandeur. But
To
it's
make a
brilliant.
terrible pixie joke, no sad punks there then.
But it's such a good, you should go one year, Andrew, because I'm sure you'd love it. The
I'm
atmosphere
not
is
sure Jordan
brilliant.
be up for it, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'll tell her to go.
You might just say go by yourself, so which
Hmm.
may not be a bad thing. We'll see. Hopefully, it'll be back on next year then. So, is it always the same time every year?
Yeah, it's always the first week in August.
Okay, right. So
Yeah.
Blackpool's really buzzing then as well, then being a big
It is
holiday
because
destination.
the punks just take over the whole town. That's all you can see roaming about Blackpool is punks.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
there's no other reason I would go to Blackpool because if it wasn't for that I wouldn't go. But it's such a good festival, really
Yeah.
good. 4 days of madness.
And then you go home and recover and think, all right, I'll do all that at the same time next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should go straight home and book my ticket for the following year.
Brilliant. I mean, it's great that music can bring people together like that, isn't it? And I think that's one of the great things about the Pixies Facebook groups and that as well. That it's created such a lovely community for us all.
Yeah.
So
And
did you go to Manchester then for the Manchester happening? Did you?
no, I didn't. In fact, I'm sure it was me that suggested Manchester for that, but I couldn't go, and I can't remember why. It clashed with something. I think I'd booked a holiday abroad or something, and I couldn't go, and I was gutted because I really wanted to go.
Yeah.
And it looked amazing.
It did. It did look amazing. Unfortunately,
Lovely.
Jordan and we couldn't make it either. But
Yeah.
but it did look great, and has obviously created a lot of memories, great memories for people both in England and the UK and in America as well who came over. So
Yeah, it was lovely to see everyone, all the photos and videos and everything.
yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. So so moving on to Frank Black and the Catholics. Not a huge fan of their work, I believe. A bit like me, probably not been that exposed to it.
Yeah.
Do you have any of his albums from that era, or not really?
Dog in the Sand.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably the best. I'm not saying of a bad bunch because anything Frank Black does is fine, but I think that's probably the best of the album. Well, the one I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say it's the best. That's a matter of opinion, isn't it?
But so maybe not choose a track from that album then. But I'm going to be lenient to you because I like you. And if you can't pick a Catholics track, is there a punk, an anthem, or maybe an obscure punk track that you would like to choose instead that I'll put a link for on the posting?
Well, this is a new punk band. Well, they're a current punk band. They're called Wonk Unit.
Wonk Unit.
Yes.
Okay. Let me hang on. I'm making a note of this. Wonk Unit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And the song would be "Go Easy."
Go Easy. Right. Okay. And where are they from? Wonk Unit.
London, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I saw them at the Rebellion Festival. I've seen a lot of current punk bands at Rebellion.
Yeah.
And but they just absolutely blew me away. Absolutely amazing band. But Go Easy is a really good song. And
Right.
I met Alex, the lead singer. That's the other good thing about that festival. The band finish playing and then they just join in the festival. They don't get, taken away in a limousine or anything. They just go and have a pint with everyone,
Yeah.
So you get to meet everyone. And I met Alex Johnson, and he's such a nice guy. And but no, Go Easy would be my sort of, I'm trying to pick something new, not old. But
yeah. No, that's great. I'll hopefully I'll be able to find it on YouTube and.
It's on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, I will put a link on there for it. Now I know you've also got a couple of dogs.
Yes.
Ruby and Pixie. Is Pixie is that poignant to the group, or you just think that she looks a Pixie-like?
Well, she looked a bit Pixie-like when I got her. So yeah, but then it was actually a friend of mine suggested the name Pixie. And I thought, yeah, that's it. It really suited her, and not only that, but I love the Pixies. So.
and what breed are they? Your dogs?
Ruby is a Jack Poo.
Okay.
Yeah, Jack Russell.
She's a beautiful dog, isn't she?
Yeah.
Lovely photos that you post of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pixie, I rescued from Romania. So.
Oh wow.
I don't know what breed she is. She's just black and noisy.
Right. Were you actually in Romania at the time? Were you? Or you did it online?
No. She was. They've got groups that rescue dogs. Street dogs in Romania, and charities that bring them over and get them doctored, but.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You get all the jabs. They get a passport and all that sort of thing. So. So she was rescued from Romania.
Oh, lovely. And they both get on well together then, I guess?
Oh,
okay. They can take or leave each other, can they?
They're lying sparko. They've been out for a long walk today, so they're both lying asleep behind me at the moment. I don't know if you can see them. Probably not, no.
No, that's all right. Don't worry. Not to worry. So they just kind of ignore each other then, I guess, do they?
Pretty much, yeah. They just can't be bothered with each other at all.
No, it's a bit like Tilly and Harley. Obviously, Tilly, the dog you'll know, and Harley, our cat as well. They just tend to ignore each other, really, and just go about their own lives without... is that one of them just woken up now? Has it heard their name mentioned?
Pixie, come here. Come here. Oh, she's being stubborn. She's just looking at me as if to say, where's my dinner?
Okay.
Come on, come. I'll just see if she'll come up. Oh.
Okay.
Come on, you. There she is.
Oh, so this is Pixie.
That's Pixie.
Oh, she's very cute. She's very cute. Oh, she's lovely. All the way from Romania.
All the way from Romania.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, she's got a lovely face.
Yeah, she's cute, but she's really noisy.
Oh, is she?
She's a small dog with a big bark.
Right. Oh, okay.
And now the other dog's getting jealous because she's on my knee.
All right. Okay. No, I know what that's like. So Tilly gets jealous if I show any affection to either Jordan or Harley in the house. So I know what that's like. So just going back to the Pixies, how did you feel about the last album? Because it was really quite different, I felt, from the previous Head Carrier, obviously, and before that Indie Cindy, and then stuff all prior to the break.
It took me a bit of time to get into the last album, but I got into it. I do like it. Yeah, now it's a grower.
Yeah.
Whereas Doolittle, I loved it instantly, and most of the others, but Etheria was a bit of a grower.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, it's very different. Quite. I think it was Adam when I was talking to. It's quite a sort of a cinematic album, isn't it? You sort of paints pictures.
Yeah, quite dark feel to it. Not in a bad way, but I like Catfish Kate. That's a good song.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those albums that I listen to and then I leave it for a long time and then I'll go back to it. Whereas the others, I'll just stick them on, quite regularly. But that one, not so much.
Yeah, sure. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to ask you that question, which is becoming a bit of a favourite one. I have to take my glasses off and read it out again. So I'm still not revealing the name of the person who asked it, but it is a member of the group. So, not the Pixies, I mean, member of the Facebook group. So, you're having one of those awful dreams where suddenly you've been put on a stage naked in front of a huge crowd, and they're all waiting for you to sing a song. Which Pixie song are you going to sing?
Oh my. Cactus.
Cactus. Okay, that's one of my favourites actually. So
Yeah.
why Cactus then?
Because I probably would be without a dress.
With your bloodied hands, yeah.
Yeah. So, that's
Yeah, I
the
guess
only
you
one.
certainly would be without a dress, I guess, yeah. So,
So yeah, that would have to be Cactus. Me and my friend Russell one night listened to that song on repeat for about 2 hours.
it's a great song. It's certainly one of my favourites.
Yeah, we just got into it and we were like, oh, put it on again, put it on again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Since I've been doing these podcasts this week and talking to people, and they come up with their different favourites, and then you just it suddenly makes you realise how many great tunes they've come up with over the years. You just think, oh yeah, that's another great song, and you go back and revisit the album and what have you. So I mean, it's amazing. I think that groups like that can have such longevity and keep producing such high quality music as well.
Yeah.
You know, you've talked about Simple Minds, and early Simple Minds, I think you and I would probably agree, was when they were at their best, and then sort of they went into the sort of stadium rock arena, didn't they? And they haven't really been the same ever since.
No, I went to see them a couple of years ago actually. They played in Inverness and they were really good.
Yeah.
They stuck mostly to the early stuff, which pleased me enormously.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So how after lockdown, I guess you're looking forward to getting back to gig going again.
I can't wait. This has been awful this year. The last gig I went to was in February. It was Jar Wobble, and I went with a friend of mine, and Peter Norris joined us. That was a really good night. And then after that, everything just stopped.
Yeah.
I was meant to go. Where else was I meant to go? I'm meant to be going to the Stranglers in November. I can't see that happening.
Where's that? Is that in Glasgow or Edinburgh?
Glasgow,
right.
Can't see that happening. Obviously, Rebellion was cancelled. I was meant to be going to Slam in October. That's not happening. So
no, it's dreadful, isn't it? It really is. It's dreadful. Yeah.
It's the only thing I really spend money on is gigs.
Yeah, and your vinyl collection.
Yeah, my ever-growing vinyl collection.
I remember you posting, and I won't dwell on this, but I remember you posting on your personal Facebook group probably a couple of months ago now, saying that you hadn't sort of had any physical contact with anyone for about 10, 12 weeks, I think it was at the time. So, right. I mean, hopefully it's a little bit better for you and a lot of other people, but I know exactly what you mean. I mean, obviously I have Jordan and that here, but other than that, I was in a very similar situation, and it's just been a very strange time, hasn't it, recently?
It has, yeah. And of course, I got I think I posted something on the Pixie page about getting a diagnosis of a rare form of muscular dystrophy the week after lockdown, which hit me very hard.
Of course.
But I'm quite glad it happened in lockdown, because I've managed to process it and, work it through and, think about it. I think if I was working and trying to deal with that, it would have been quite difficult.
Yeah, and especially when people are always asking about it and that, aren't they, and whatever, which, is only sort of trying to be nice and caring and things like that. But I think sometimes that can make it worse, can't it, if you're in that sort of situation, talking from my own experiences. But well, you're certainly looking well now anyway. And,
I'm well at the moment. Yeah, it's a progressive thing, so it's only affecting my eyes and my throat at the moment, and it might not progress any further. I don't know. There's just no way of knowing. But
sure.
No treatment for it. It's incurable.
Right.
So I just have to deal with things as they come.
And carry on with your lust for life, which you clearly have, and enjoying all that beautiful Scottish countryside and your dogs, and hopefully get back out gig going again as well in the not too distant future. Well, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Lisa. It's been great speaking to you.
And to you.
Even if you don't have a Scottish accent, which is very disappointing. But no, I'm only teasing you. I'm only teasing you. And yeah, keep up with your great posts and that as well. And we can all share in your passions in life, which is, you know, I think really important at the moment, that we can all interact with each other, albeit not in the ways that we may want to. In terms of meeting up.
I'm glad you enjoy my photos and everything.
Oh no, I do.
Worry that I bore people, but
oh well, I do that as well with my occasional rants and things like that as well. So I tend to bore myself after a while and stop, and then something sparks it off again, and off I go. But thank you very much for your time. It's been great, and great to hear your choices of Pixies music, and hopefully one day we will actually get to meet up properly and.
Yes, because I've only ever
enjoy
met
a gig together.
I've met John Cole, and I've met Peter, and I met Duncan ages ago. I don't know what's happened to him, but that's it. I haven't met anyone else. I'd love to meet some of the people from stateside.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I'm sure they'll be over as soon as you know, Airways and that, and the authorities will let us do that kind of thing again. So
I just missed James last year, James Stell and his wife. Because I think I was in Italy when they were actually here in Inverness.
Okay.
And I was in Italy.
Oh no.
I couldn't see them. I missed them by about 2 days.
Yeah, we managed to catch up with them down in Plymouth as well when we saw Pixies down in Plymouth as well. So yeah, they're a lovely couple actually. So I hope that you get to meet them as well sometime. So
yeah, me too.
All right, lovely. It's great to see you. Keep smiling.
Yeah, we'll do.
Keep pogoing or whatever it is that you punks do. And hopefully I'll get to meet up with you one day.
All right.
Okay. Thanks for your time. Bye.